for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DiPrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
Love you. Love you.
It's just me against the world. Me against the world, baby. I got nothing to lose. It's just me against the world. Me against the world, baby. Can you picture my prophecy? Stress in the city, the cops are topping me. The projects full of bullets, no bodies is dropping. There ain't no stopping me. Constantly moving while making millions. Witnessing killings, leaving dead bodies in the abandoned buildings. Carries the children cause they're illin'. Addicted to killing and the appeal from the cap villain. Without feeling, but will they last or be blasted? Hard-headed. Maybe you'll listen in this casket, the aftermath. More bodies being buried. I'm losing my homies in a hurry. They relocating to the cemetery. Got me worried, stressing my business blurry. The question is, will I live? No one in the world loves me. I'm headed for danger. Don't trust strangers, put one in the chamber whenever I'm feeling this anger. Don't wanna make excuses, cause this is how it is. What's the use unless we're shooting? No one notices the youth. It's just me against the world, baby.
KBLA Talk 1580. I've been informed that the Congresswoman's schedule has changed and we'll be expecting her at the bottom of the hour. So looking forward to that conversation. So let's talk about some of the things we will look at when she arrives, or maybe not. I've got good news and I've got bad news type energy. And this is the perfect time to call me. There's space for you right now. 800-920-1580. I mean, actually, there's always space for you, but there's more space. You got a first-class seat right now. 800-920-1580. We talked about Namibia, tiny country. It's like 3 million people in Africa. Maybe we'll go there one year. 2026. I want to go to Namibia. Anyway, they have a woman president, and she just declared that they're going to have free education for all, which... If, like I said, if tiny, no money having, 3 million people strong Namibia can do education, college for free, we should be able to do the same. Now she's taking the step, this black woman president, of marking the genocide in their country. Germany's forgotten genocide is what historians call it. The first genocide of the 20th century. More than 70,000 Africans were murdered by the Germans. And this is 40 years before the Holocaust, by the way, before they were used, before Africans were used for human experiments in those concentration camps and fake science, torture, campaigns. This is before it was even called Namibia, when it used to be called Southwest Africa. The chapter in history is rarely talked about. And this woman is saying, no, we will remember. And we are going to start marking this every year. This Holocaust, well, the German Genocide Day, 70,000 folks, that is being marked this week. And it is part of a campaign by the Namibian government to push Germany to pay them reparations. So no matter how many times the Trump administration and Stephen Miller try to make a mockery out of reparations, no matter how many times they say it was too long ago, that the people today didn't own slaves, so they shouldn't have to pay, no matter how many excuses they make about how we won't spend the money right, no matter how many times they try to make it seem unviable, untenable, and like it doesn't matter, or it's impossible. it's actually, the reparations movement is continuing to pick up speed. CARICOM, which represents the Caribbean, as Jamaicans and Barbadians and others push European nations for their reparations here in the United States, as we see the continuing growth of reparations commissions, task force on a state level, on a city level, county, and eventually we will get something going on the national level. And this little African nation of Namibia is showing you how drip, 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 vote, 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 legislate, legislate, legislate. If you are the big tree, we are the small axe. Looking to chop you down, in the words of Bob Marley, and we will get it done. It's now a national holiday, Genocide Remembrance Day. And it's going to be marked as a journey of healing. It's being celebrated this week, but the actual date is May 28th every year. May 28th will be Genocide Remembrance Day in Namibia as part of their campaign to push forward reparations due to them from Germany. And that also was, a campaign that was over the German colonization was also in effect in Cameroon, Togo, Zimbabwe. You can still see it in Zimbabwe. I traveled there. The amount of land that's owned still by Germans and the booming German tourism industry to that beautiful, rich, gorgeous African nation is still robust to this day. That mass slaughter that we're talking about, 70,000 Africans in Namibia, was from 1904 to 1908. Was not formally admitted to, recognized by the Germans until 4 years ago. 4 years ago, they finally admitted it. They said that they were willing to pay about $1 billion in development aid over 30 years. They don't want to call it reparations. They don't want to call it compensation. They're going to call it development aid. 70,000 people, $1 billion over 30 years. What is that, like $1 a day with interest? Namibians were like, that ain't it. That ain't it. Some called it a joke. A group representing the victims of genocide's families called it evidence of the racist mindset of Germany and the neo-colonial subservience of Namibia. Well, neo-colonial subservience no more. So again, see what happens when you put a woman in control. And here's the crazy thing. They have photos, right? Because it was 1904 to 1908, they got receipts. Germany can lie all they want. They got receipts. And you can find those. Just Google image that. It's pretty, it will make you angry. But, something I bet you haven't heard much about in the U.S. mainstream press. Can't wait to hear what Congresswoman Waters has to say about the blocking of Trump's global trade tariffs. She, of course, has been on the Finance Committee for many years, was the chair of that before Republicans took the majority, and she's now, I believe she's still the ranking member on that committee, so she'll have a lot of information. But the Court of International Trade ruled that an emergency law that the White House was using to justify those tariffs, because we know tariffs are really the job of Congress, right? The power of the purse is a congressional power, not an executive branch authority. And the Court of International Trade said the president didn't have authority to even put those tariffs on. And they are blocking them, almost all of them. That court, which is in New York, said The Constitution gives Congress the power to regulate commerce with other nations. And it's not something that the Trump administration has the power to do. They're saying they're going to appeal it. They'll probably lose. Well, I don't know. Who knows? If it goes all the way to Supreme Court, the extreme Supremes, ain't no telling how that could go. But the fact of the matter is it pauses them for now. Wall Street was celebrating. And the fact of the matter is the Trump administration can still enact these tariffs, if I'm not mistaken. I'll be interested to hear what Maxine Waters will have to say about it, because the president has both houses of Congress. He can go to Congress. Why didn't they do that in the first place? Because he wants to rule like a king or an emperor and not an actual president. He could have just said, we want to do these tariffs, taken it to the Republican-controlled Congress and passed it. More than likely, that's what would have happened. But now he's been rebuked, and it is a big L. L is for loser for the Trump administration. Taking your phone calls right now at 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for. For this free information, call 800-433-8909. 800-433-8909. That's 800-433-8909. Or simply visit godra.com.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Yeah. At what point does it become a genocide? And when are we allowed to say that is the question? When are we allowed to say that? Trump calls South African white farmers supposedly being killed a genocide, but is holding up a picture showing grave sites from the Congo and cannot name one white farmer who has been killed as a result of being a white farmer. Yes, there's crime. Black farmers, white farmers, people who aren't farmers are getting killed through crime, not through a genocide. 70,000 was a number in Namibia, a country of only 3 million people. So now we're edging up on, my math ain't that good, but it's an impact on. It's a noticeable impact on the population of your entire nation. Same with Gaza. Gaza's tiny. And does it have to do with how many people? Does it have to do with whether they're civilians, women and children? Or is it simply when it's white people that are murdered, then you can acknowledge it as such? What is the definition? What's the standard? Elon Musk is out. He's He's leaving the Trump administration. Before he was saying that he needed to focus more on his companies, and he was criticizing the Trump tariffs, which in a rare moment I agreed with him. And now he's saying that his job here is done. He said he was going to cut $2 trillion in spending, and he cut that down to $150 billion. And clearly this was a failure because he didn't even meet his own goals. Plus, the amount of money that we're spending to cut that, it may end up being a wash or even a loss by the time we get done with all these lawsuits for firing people that you weren't authorized to fire. But he's tweeted, what do you call it now, X'd? As my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, I would like to thank President Donald Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending. It will become a way of life throughout government, blah, blah, blah. It's my platform, so I can lie and say whatever I want. But clearly he's not as tight with the broski as he used to be. Criticizing the big, beautiful bill. He said it could either be big or beautiful. Couldn't be both. Yeah. So, at least, I mean, they're not having it scheduled the normal Trump blowout, but we'll see. Could still be coming. Little Elon could still be a thing. Let's go to Fred calling us from L.A. Hi, Fred.
Dominique. Okay, I listened to you and your guest this morning. Didn't get his name, but I heard his name, but I didn't write it down. Anyway,
James Farr, F-A-R-R.
Okay, well, he implied the Republicans have done nothing for the American Negro ever. But anyway, I was watching the news.
I missed that. Was my hearing aid off? I didn't hear those words come out James's mouth. Don't make James come running back in here and clock you. You know, he's just in the other room.
Now the State Department is trying to take away the 27, take away the visas from Harvard University, and 27% of the students are, that's what the State Department says, are foreigners. And I saw the Harvard man on TV, I guess he's called the chancellor, he said 31%. So that's almost a third of their admissions. Now let's assume the State Department is successful in removing all 31%, and that goes across the board with Columbia and all the other UCLA and all the other universities. USC.
Well,
but
it's different with UCLA because that's a public university. These others are private businesses.
I understand that.
Yeah, so let's make the
but
distinction.
Let's just say they remove all the foreigners. They don't give them any more visas. They let them expire and don't renew.
Right.
That leaves 31% of all college spots open. And let's assume that I'm going to call them kids. They're students. They're young adults. The white kids stay there and remain constant. Now, doesn't that open up 31% of the higher education for other Americans?
No.
Oh, it does not?
No. You want to know why I say that?
Tell me.
Because those foreign students are underwriting the education of American students because they pay way more and they support the function of the university so that American students don't have to pay the actual cost of going to those colleges.
Well,
that means you either have to... No, I didn't step in nothing. You either are going to have to raise the price significantly to which most American students cannot afford, revoke the citizenship,
take it from Harvard's
revoke the scholarships. Well, Harvard has generous scholarships now, particularly... Let me finish talking. Excuse me.
Down to 60.
You know what? You're going to have to get muted if you just overtalk me because I allow all people to come with all their theories and all their political viewpoints, but it's still, I'm the host of the show, so I'm going to need you to respect that, okay? So
of course.
Let me finish my sentence. The cost of education for the American student will be not something most of us can do. So unless you're talking about all J.D. Vance's kids, no, it doesn't open 31%. What it does is make those universities not viable businesses. And they are private businesses. So the fact that the Trump administration, look, if you want to take away their research grants because you don't care whether we can cure Alzheimer's, that's your legislative priority. But now, by taking away visas, you're meddling in a private business, which I thought Republicans didn't believe in.
Oh, no, the business can remain open. They'll just have to change their format. They'll have to make it affordable
You're
for those
meddling.
other Americans.
How would they do that, Fred?
Well, that's their private business. I just said.
Yeah, so if they're a private business, why is the Trump administration meddling in their ability to do business in other countries? That should be up to them. They're not stopping oil and gas companies. They're not stopping these other international firms other than, charging them tariffs.
It's very strange. If this 31% of the students were coming from South Africa and they were paying for it out of there and it was going to Harvard and the other colleges, you have a fit. But
no, I wouldn't. Some of them are coming.
Some of them are
coming from there, Fred. And no, I don't want to import racists from South Africa by granting them refugee status. But if South African students are paying to go to Harvard, so be it. I don't care.
Well,
I don't care. Your talking point is moot. Thank you for playing, Fred.
This would be reparations on steroids.
Okay, goodbye. Have a nice day. That has nothing to do with reparations. If I'm a foreign student and I have money and I'm going to a foreign university, to an American university, that's not reparations. And if I can't go to that university and now black people get to go there and get charged the full price, that's not reparations either. Getting me a spot at Harvard for full price is not reparations. It might be affirmative action, which is actually illegal, so it's not going to happen. But what it's not is reparations. And we need to stop calling things reparations that are not reparations. Let's go to Jerry calling from Beverly Hills. Good morning, Jerry. How you feeling today?
Oh, hi. Governor Jerry.
Oh, excuse me.
Honor me. No, never mind. Yeah, you had a guest last week.
What is happening today, Jerry?
You had a guest last week who said we don't need money. So if he was a landlord, he wouldn't charge anything, or he would charge only $400 a month.
Who was that, Miles? I don't remember.
What was the guest? Fred, I forgot his name.
He said we don't need money?
We don't need money. Best things in life are free.
Oh. Well, I think he might have been talking...
His name Fred? I forgot his name.
Symbolically. I don't remember that. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he would be a landlord if he thinks we don't need money. But I don't remember the conversation. I'm sorry. Why don't you go ahead and land for me, Jerry? Governor Jerry.
You remember yes. Anyway, you had a 14-year-old who was assaulted by a lady teacher.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Mm-hmm.
Is that a little unusual for a teacher to sexually assault a student?
Unfortunately, well, I don't know how common. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Let me put it that way, Jerry. But I feel like I am reporting on that story on a regular basis, that a teacher somewhere, male or female, is having an inappropriate relationship, sexual relationship with a child. That was, of course, attorney Dominique Westmoreland and Daphne Smith, the mama, who were on yesterday. If you missed it, you can find it wherever you get your podcast for free. It's also available on YouTube if you want to hear that story. All of our shows, all of our weekday shows are available wherever you get your pods for free. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and then we're expecting to hear from Congresswoman Maxine Waters next on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is threatening to veto any state budget that includes broad-based taxes to balance an estimated $1 billion deficit.
I'm telling you, anything that's broad-based and that would have a negative impact on working families, I would veto a budget like that.
Pritzker said he would specifically veto any budget that includes tax increases on individuals, corporations, or the sales tax. The Capitol Jewish Museum reopens today in Washington, D.C., just over a week after a deadly shooting outside. 2 Israeli embassy staffers were killed on May 21st. The museum opens at noon following a memorial service for the victims. And President Trump has pardoned rapper NBA Youngboy, who faced fraud and gun charges and commuted 6 life sentences for Gangster Disciples co-founder Larry Hoover. Hoover remains in prison on a separate 200-year sentence for a 1973 murder in Illinois. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
One half of the NBA Finals is set. The Oklahoma City Thunder crushed Minnesota by 30 last night to win the Western Conference title. 34 points and 8 assists for NBA MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Second appearance for OKC in the NBA Finals. They were there in 2012 with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. OKC lost to LeBron and the Miami Heat in 5 games. This was the second straight year Minnesota lost in the Western Conference Finals. Minnesota is one of 7 teams that have never made it to the NBA Finals. The other 6 are the Clippers, Charlotte, Sacramento, Memphis, Atlanta, and New Orleans. OKC will have a week to rest up for the finals. They will host Game 1 on Thursday, June 5th against Indiana or New York. Game 5 for the Pacers and Knicks in the Eastern Conference is tonight in New York. Indiana has a 3-1 lead. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit CASMPvolunteer.org. Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The Comedy Connection series featuring KBLA's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady. We're going to transform relationship disasters into stand-up material live at Inglewood's Miracle Theater on May 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My clinical team will disclose all of your dating woes, while the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady, has hand-selected supremely talented comedians to roast all of our tragic relationship choices. I dare you to bring your ex's phone number, because Ray, he's going to text it live, and the crowd will be sourcing emojis. Tickets are moving swiftly, so don't hesitate to grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before I diagnose your dating history as a pre-existing condition.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
And we are expecting to hear from Congresswoman Maxine Waters any minute now. I know she's in the middle of legislating and doing things. I'm aware that she's holding a press conference this morning around a bill, which we'll hear from her about this morning, regarding cryptocurrency and the kind of bold and blatant ways that the entire Trump family, not just the president himself, but the entire Trump family, is making themselves richer using cryptocurrency. So we'll get an update on that. We'll get an update on this so-called big, beautiful bill and her thoughts on that and where we are with it. And of course, I'm looking forward to talking with her about the tariffs, tariffs which were blocked yesterday by a court. And the thing about it is that even though it'll block, there was one blocking by the U.S. Trade Court of the overall tariffs on foreign countries, and then the specific tax on the Mexican imports was also Mexico, China, and Canada also blocked. And the bad news in this is that those tariffs that target specific items like steel and aluminum and cars were justified using a different law. So those tariffs remain in place for now, but all the other ones are currently blocked. It's a huge setback for the Trump administration. Of course, the White House says they're going to appeal it. And once again, they're clear not understanding the Constitution comes through when they say it's not for unelected judges to decide how to properly address a national emergency. That's what the deputy press secretary said. However, those judges are appointed Some are elected, some are appointed by people like Trump. So that's what we do. We elect officials who then appoint judges. That's how it works. That's why you have a supermajority on the Supreme Court, Trump. Again, they're going to appeal it, and then they'll probably take it to Congress, and then they'll get to do tariffs. But what it is going to do is delay this, at least. Stock markets in Asia jumped. U.S. stock futures jumped. The dollar made gains against other currency like the yen and the Swiss franc. So the markets are receiving this as a victory, and yet the administration, will fight it. So it's not over until it's over. And again, looking forward to hear what the Congresswoman will have to say about that. So I was mentioning how Elon Musk is out. These seem like 1-2 check off the list of good news, but the damage that has been done by Doge is not going to leave town with Mr. Musk. The folks who have lost their jobs, the folks that have lost aid under the USAID program, the medicines, the lives that have been lost by the defunding of our AIDS relief program and such, those don't leave town with Mr. Musk. They will likely take years or even decades to reverse. So it's good news with an asterisk, which seems to be a lot of the type of good news we are getting these days. She is the representative for the 43rd Congressional District, considered to be one of the most powerful women in American politics today, an advocate for women, children, BIPOC people, and the under-resourced, and she was elected in 2022 to her 17th term in the House of Representatives. She's affectionately known as Auntie Maxine. She is America's Congresswoman, Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Good morning.
Good morning. So good to talk with you.
Yes, good to hear your voice.
You've got a lot to talk about.
Do we ever? Oh, my goodness. Do we ever? I want to start with your cryptocurrency campaign because I want to make sure we get to it. And if we start talking about tariffs and Elon leaving town and stuff like that, then we might never end up talking about the cryptocurrency initiative the bill that you're putting forth.
Well, thank you very much. And it's very important because, as you know, cryptocurrency is at the top of the financial considerations for investment in the country with the big boys, with the moneyed people. And so we have to pay a lot of attention. But this president has decided that he is going to be brazen and that he's going to use the office of the presidency to promote himself and to grow his wealth. And now he's in the ownership of crypto in several ways. And I want you to know that my bill is all about trying to stop him and his family from the ownership of crypto and using the presidency in order to attract investors and going all across the world with Abu Dhabi and other countries, inviting them in to the crypto, not only the meme coin that he has, but also with, the other ways that he can invest in crypto. And so my bill says that the President of the United States, the Cabinet, the members of Congress, and et al. Should not be able to own crypto. It is like what we've tried to do, and we're doing successfully, with keeping, members of Congress from insider investing. And if we are about denying the members of Congress the right to invest because they may have insider information, and that is correct, they may have insider trading, we certainly shouldn't let the President of the United States own crypto and use the office of the presidency to attract investors and increase his wealth. He's already increased his wealth by some 40%.
Wow.
Since he's owned crypto already.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a whole family affair. I know that Trump Media has raised $2.5 billion from investors to go into Bitcoin. I know that the Trump sons are part of the Bitcoin bandwagon, and Melania has her own meme coin, right, along with Trump's meme coin. So this is now it's crazy, because I remember when the president used to be against cryptocurrency. He said it was a scam, and now he's all in on the scam.
Yeah, we can't trust him in any shape, form, or fashion. This liar will take advantage of anything at any time, no matter what he claimed he thought about it prior to getting involved with it. He's that kind of dishonorable man. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anybody like him. And even, I was just talking with my staff about this great dinner that he put on for these investors, that he only showed up for 20 minutes. The food was rotten. He didn't take any pictures with the people. He didn't shake any hands. All he wanted was their money, and I understand they're unhappy, but that's him. I mean, he's no good. He's rotten. He's an undesirable human being.
Undesirable. Well, you've been saying that since day one. We were joking about how you could do the I Told You So tour right now, because since 2016, you've been telling folks, and here we go again. Congresswoman Waters, we know that the Republicans control both houses of Congress. So what are the odds that your bill can pass?
Well, here's what I know, and here's what I understand about how this stuff works. If you take the initiative to grab onto an issue that you think the American people living in a democracy should be concerned about, it takes a while, it takes work, it takes education, it takes leveraging, it takes everything. What I think about the Republican Party is that in addition to them being able to understand why this is so important and liking it to insider investing and all of that, that they eventually are going to move not only on this issue, but they're going to move on the other issues that he's involved with that is tearing up what is supposed to be the strong beliefs of the Republican Party. There is no more Republican Party who claims to be more patriotic than anybody else, who claims to be, more concerned about law and order. When we have a president with 34 convictions, he's a criminal that happens to be president that's getting away with it because it has never occurred this way in history. And so he got away with them not being able to put him in jail as he should have been put in jail rather than inaugurating him into the presidency. But I think it's awful that it's going to take the time that it takes, but we cannot be discouraged. We cannot back away. We've got to stay on it until we get it into their heads. And I think it's inevitable that it will happen because they can't say they stand for a damn thing anymore with this president.
Yeah, I think that's right. And also it reminds me of impeachment. I remember in 2016, you were saying impeach the president, and everyone was scoffing and laughing and whatever, and then they ended up doing it twice. So
that's right.
Back to the I Told You So tour.
Well, you're on it. And you're remembering, and there's some people who don't want to remember, and I suppose it is not really nice or proper to say I told you so, but it's coming out. It's coming out. It's coming out. But now I got to move on and say I'm telling you again in different ways what's going on. I'm, the ranking member of the Financial Services Committee, and I understand what he's doing with crypto. I understand what he's all about. And I'm telling you again that this man is dangerous. He's selling out the country. He's still aligned with Putin, and that he just went over into the Middle East because he sees an opportunity for all that money, that he's after. and he cut a lot of deals. Some of the deals we probably don't even know about yet.
Yeah, probably not.
And I'm saying it over and over again. He's rotten, no good, dishonorable, criminal, anything I can call him.
And connecting the dots, I mean, he has embraced the Salvadorian president, Bukele, who calls himself the world's coolest dictator. We're running a prison over there, and Bukele has been a big proponent of Bitcoin. These cryptocurrencies would make it a lot harder to trace the plundering of the treasury that our president is currently doing, right?
It could be. I'm depending on blockchain to be able to identify and to follow and to define what is going on in cryptocurrency. But I'm not so sure that, the blockchain is going to work the way that we want it to work. We've got to take a look at that and make sure that we're keeping up with all of the information related to crypto that should be in the blockchain. And so this identification with some of these presidents in other countries that you want to use their prisons. He wants to continue to deport and to pick people up off the street and send them somewhere. If our prisons are overcrowded, he want to be able to use them in these other countries. So he's aligning himself with not only El Salvador, but other countries where he can use their prisons to send people. And we all got to be concerned about this man because they are not being careful about who they say is eligible for deportation because they're here illegally. They're picking up anybody that they can, that they think is ineligible. And guess what? We're not protected good enough by even the Supreme Court. And I'm going to start a campaign next week to say to the Supreme Court, all right, he's defying you, the highest court of the land. What you going to do about it?
Yeah.
What you going to do about it?
Well,
what you going to do about it?
You saw where they arrested my brother, Raz Baraka, who is a citizen and the sitting mayor of Newark, New Jersey. ICE arrested him. That to me was shots across the bow. But I hope they unwittingly helped him win for governor.
Well, I thought about you. I called him and I talked with him. I sent him some money, and of course I'm supporting the Congress people that they're trying to indict. As a matter of fact, MacIver, they're not only after her. With our ethics committee, they're going to try and take away her committee assignments. They're going to try and make an example out of her that you can't resist ICE when they come into your community. But she's strong. She's not afraid. We're totally behind her, not only the Black Caucus, but all of the Women's Caucus, et cetera, et cetera. But this is a dangerous human being.
Yeah.
And his order to ICE is take them off the street, knock on the doors, go to the schoolhouses, get them. And they are not using any discretion. And we all have to be careful.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you, too, because, Congresswoman, of course, you remember when my brother first ran for mayor in 2014, you endorsed way back then, and our family is grateful. When we continue, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, I got to get your take on the tariffs and the court ruling against the Trump administration. Hear what it means coming forward. We'll look at that as we continue with Congresswoman Maxine Waters on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Marina Del Rey turns 60, and you're invited to the party. Join us Saturday, May 31st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Burton Chase Park for Marina Culture Jam, a free community celebration packed with music, dance, art, and fun for all ages. Experience electrifying performances by Takeo Project and Inca. Take a historic harbor tour, join the Freedom Drum Circle, and hop on a $1 water bus ride. Celebrate culture, connection, and coastline. RSVP at beaches.lacounty.gov/Marina Culture Jam.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail, and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail, because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome. We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
Some of us are just learning what tariffs really mean, what they do, sadly, because of this administration. But the court has sort of put a stop, or at least for now, to the Trump tariffs, or most of them, the ones that aren't specific to certain products. It is the Court of International Trade, something most of us weren't even tracking. Congresswoman Waters, what does this mean? It seems like a big loss for the Trump administration.
Well, it could be. Trump had decided that he was going to use tariffs to intimidate other countries, increase the amount of money they have to pay without any thought about it was going to increase the retail and the amount that the average citizen has to pay for goods and services. He created so much uncertainty, and even Jamie Dimon, the biggest banker in the country, has said, this is so much uncertainty. We don't know from day to day what he's going to do. As a matter of fact, a reporter just said he's chicken, and he's mad about that. The reporter said, he's chickening out. Oh, yeah, he's really mad because, he don't like to be nailed. But you know what he's doing? He's up one day with China, down, the next day. We don't know where he's going with this. And this is not good for the economy. And so, yes, the courts have said that he has to put a stop to it. They want to block it. But he's defying the Supreme Court. So I'm looking to see if he's going to try and defy this court decision and what he's going to do and how the countries are going to deal with that. I was looking for the countries to retaliate anyway, and I think that Canada and Mexico were retaliating, and they were ready to fight him, but I know that this creates a real problem for everybody, and I don't know what he's going to do. He's brazen, and so he may say, the hell with the courts, and continue to try and intimidate, even though he doesn't know what the heck he's doing with these tariffs.
I mean,
tariffs.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's the cost of shipping goods and services into our country. And so tariffs should not be something that you use to politically. It should be what is fair, what makes good sense, how much money are you really making, and what percentage of that it is fair for you to be able to, shift in, rather than just going to bed one night and thinking, I'm going to raise the tariffs on that country and see what they do. And then the next day raise the tariffs, and then the day after that, I'm going to lower them. He thinks that puts him in a position where he can run the world and intimidate them.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. I mean, the thing about the courts pausing these tariffs and Elon Musk leaving town is that the things that have already been done do not get reversed overnight, right? The damage to our relationships with other countries through this trade war, the damage to our soft power and our relationships, and human beings losing their lives because of, aid that we were traditionally giving out and the like. Those don't go away when Elon Musk leaves town. They don't go away when a Trump tariff is paused, right?
No, it doesn't. And this unholy alliance that he had with Musk, where Musk put over $350 million into his campaign, and Trump basically said in so many words, he knows how to handle, those votes, as if something had happened that, that, and I kind of believe something did happen technology-wise.
I do too.
Yep, I'm suspicious of that. But anyway, he brought him on, and that was the deal. And he ran roughshod. He ran over the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, walked in there, told them to get out by 5 o'clock. It had to be dealt with by the courts. They've been trying to kill it for a long time, and that has brought in billions of dollars to people who have been ripped off by the banks and by the big companies. And so it was a great thing, and they wanted to get rid of it. And so they're okay right now, but they still cannot do the investigation. They cannot do the work. They can go in now. You put them out, and the courts got so far as returning those who have been fired or laid off or what have you, but they still can't do their work. I'm so afraid what's happening with housing. Already Turner, who he appointed to HUD, a black man minister, so-called ex-football player, has said that he is going to get rid of Section 8. If he gets rid of Section 8, our people will be out on the street. I mean, this is serious. So whether it is getting rid of the Department of Education, which he's now being backed off of, or whether it is, reducing the amount of money to help renters and homeowners in HUD, or protection for consumer rights in the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they're killing this country. They are absolutely destroying this country, and he's benefited from it, and he is loving the idea of being a dictator and celebrating his birthday with the army and all of that. It is so outrageous until it just makes you want to wish all kind of things could happen to stop him.
Yes, indeed. Well, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, congratulations on your bill. Of course, we support that, and you're introducing it today to try to stop the profiteering off Bitcoin. This would stop the president, his family, members of Congress. Would it stop their families, the immediate families of?
Yeah.
So,
the way it normally works is if there is a certain kind of family connection that is involved with insider trading, it would impact the family. But if there's not, then the hands are not tied of clean individuals to invest.
Well, Congresswoman,
but all of government got to go. Members of Congress, cabinet members, the president, no, we shouldn't be able to do it.
Congresswoman Maxine Waters, thanks for all of your energy and the great work you continue to do.
You're so very welcome. That's what my life is all about. And thank you for keeping the word out. You're our talking drum. I appreciate you. Let's keep fighting. We're not intimidated. We're not going back. We're going to fight this terrible onslaught that we're experiencing from this president and his mega bunch.
News, traffic, and sports right now.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is threatening to veto any state budget that includes broad-based taxes to balance an estimated $1 billion deficit.
I'm telling you, anything that's broad-based and that would have a negative impact on working families, I would veto a budget like that.
Pritzker said he would specifically veto any budget that includes tax increases on individuals, corporations, or the sales tax. The Capitol Jewish Museum reopens today in Washington, D.C., just over a week after a deadly shooting outside. Two Israeli